That bear is ready for hibernation. It has been digging through dumpsters and eating.
I can hear you.
I just feel really scared. I don't know why I just get it.
Houston Wilson set out alone to tackle the remote Tour de los Padres route deep in California's rugged backcountry. At first, the ride seemed manageable, but exhaustion, scorching heat, and dehydration quickly began to take their toll.
I'm feeling really beat. It was super hard getting out of the bivvy this morning. My rear hub has been making a lot of noise, and I'm scared that my wheel is just gonna fall apart. My cranks don't feel great. I'm scared that my bottom bracket is gonna explode. But I'm just trying to remind myself that I'm just riding, and that's the only thing I can focus on. I noticed I was getting a little bit too much sun. I just really want this climb to be over. I imagine it's gonna be another few hours though, but after that we'll descend forever, so. Oh, hate that. Yeah, feeling demoralized again. I don't know how much further I have, but I'm struggling a little bit mentally. But let's carry on. At least it's shaded. That's nice, and it's beautiful too. I just feel really scared. I don't know why I just get it. I just feel really scared and alone.
From the very start, mechanical problems plagued him. His rear hub rattled constantly, and he worried his wheel might give out at any moment. His cranks felt unstable, making him fear his bottom bracket could fail without warning. With little choice, he tried to focus solely on pedaling forward. As the climb dragged on, the sun became relentless. He pushed his way uphill for hours, mentally and physically drained. Shade and the occasional view offered brief relief, but isolation weighed heavily on him. A sense of fear and vulnerability began to creep in as he rode further from civilization. Water became scarce. He struggled to sleep, and his bike continued to break down, first the brakes, then the hub, and later a flat tire. Without spare brake pads, he realized he was in real danger. He filled his bottles wherever he could and considered whether he should abandon the trail altogether. As the terrain grew harsher, his unease deepened.
I took off my turtleneck and helmet. I just need to keep maximizing my time climbing before it gets really hot. Trying to get to the upper campground for some water. Hot. Fuck. I have worn through my brake pads and I did not bring spares. So that is a pretty serious problem. Okay, I'm gonna fill up on water. Just try to fill up all my bottles. And after I do that, I'm gonna look at the maps and see if there's a different way to get off of this mountain other than the trail. It is just very sketchy, and I'm pretty freaked out right now. I got a flat too.
At night, strange noises echoed through the dark, making him feel watched and exposed. Despite exhaustion, he pushed on, reaching the top only after nearly collapsing from heat stroke and ordeal. He described as one of the scariest moments of his life.
I want to be down there so badly. I'm making 0 progress right now, and I'm feeling really discouraged and tired. We got the campsite. Really beautiful with these rock formations, and the sky is really gorgeous. Hopefully the rocks will protect it from the wind, because we're pretty high up here. But yeah, another long day, but I think if I'm well rested, I can hopefully make it into Ojai, because I'm like pretty much out of water, unfortunately. But I'm excited to go to bed, and I'm gonna wash my face and stuff. Good night. Hey, so it's like 3 a.m. I've made the decision that I need to leave my bike up here.
By the time he reached camp, he was nearly out of water. He tried to rest, but the following nights brought little comfort. At 3 a.m., after battling exhaustion and fear, he finally made the decision to leave his bike behind. With no other option, he continued on foot through the punishing heat, nearly collapsing before finally spotting other people days later. That was when he knew he had survived. Analysis and theories. Wilson's ordeal highlights just how quickly an adventure can turn into a fight for survival when equipment fails and the wilderness offers no mercy. His lack of spare gear and limited water supply nearly cost him everything. Open-ended twist. But here's the question. If you were in his shoes, would you have abandoned your bike or risk pushing it further into the unknown? On September 29, 2024, the creator behind the popular channel Vancity Van Life shared an unusual encounter, one that proved the wilderness doesn't always follow you into the deep backcountry. Sometimes it shows up in the middle of the city. The video begins at dawn, just after sunrise. He had been stealth camping near a senior living facility in a quiet neighborhood. This wasn't the wild, it was suburbia. Yet the morning calm was shattered by a series of loud crashes outside his van. At first, he assumed the sounds were ordinary, perhaps someone rummaging through trash or workers starting their day. But when he stepped outside with his camera, the source of the noise became clear. A massive black bear was only a few feet away.
Oh, there's a bear on that garbage can up there. Good morning, you guys. I'm just waking up here and I could hear noises outside my van. I'm sleeping right outside an old folks home and there's a giant bear right here. He was digging through that garbage can right there. With all the garbage on the ground. He woke me up. I'm like, what is happening outside my van? Oh, he's right there. Look how big he is. Look at him.
When I first heard the banging was about a half an hour before I got out of the van this morning. I heard the bangs and I'm like, oh man, is somebody breaking in one of the businesses around? And I looked around outside, I didn't see anything, and I curled back up in bed. Then I decided I'm just gonna get up and start this video. That's when I noticed the big bear. That bear is ready for hibernation. It has been digging through dumpsters and eating lots of food. I haven't seen a bear that big in the city in a long time.
That bear is way bigger than you.
Knocking over a garbage can and tearing into the contents. The bear's size was striking far larger than what he was used to seeing within city limits. Clearly preparing for hibernation, the animal seemed entirely comfortable around people, showing no hesitation as it rooted through the bins. Though the scene could have turned tense, the creator remained calm. His dog eventually barked and charged, helping to scare the bear away. The encounter then shifted into a moment of reflection. Early van life often revolved around stealth camping, yet here he was parked right in front of a senior's home without trouble from staff or locals. The only real visitor had been nature itself.
Izzy, come on. Izzy, that bear is bigger than you, bro. Good morning. So I was doing a little stealth camping here in front of a senior's home, and I got out and I propped my camera up, and while I was out I could just hear this bang, bang, bang. I'm like, oh, whatever, I must put stuff in the garbage can. I turn around and there's a freaking bear right there ripping apart that whole garbage can. Oh guys, good morning, good morning. So it's those bears that you gotta worry about. When you're running into a big black bear in the backcountry, as long as it's not a mama bear with their cubs, usually it's pretty good. It's when you run into the bears in the city, because they have no fears of you at all, those are the ones that you really gotta worry about. But anyway guys, had a great night's sleep here in front of the senior's home. Good morning. That bear's gone that way, by the way. Long way away from here right now. Thanks for trying to protect us. Hey, thanks for the big barking. You scared the bear away, bro. Good boy.
Throughout the video, he stressed that the key in such situations isn't how well hidden you are, but how you choose to respond. In the backcountry, bears usually avoid humans unless cubs are involved. In cities, however, they often lose that fear, making them unpredictable and more dangerous. This might not be the most terrifying entry, but it perfectly illustrates the unpredictability of van life. Even in the middle of a city, the unexpected can appear, sometimes in the form of a massive black bear searching for food, while a loyal dog tries to keep it at bay. The incident highlights how wildlife adapts to urban spaces, often becoming bolder and more willing to approach humans. While this bear eventually left without conflict, it raises concerns about how easily human waste can draw large animals into populated areas. What do you think is more dangerous, encountering a bear in the wilderness or crossing paths with one that has grown used to city life? Chris set out on a solo camping trip in Harwood Forest, England, hoping for peace and quiet. After passing a noisy group of young people, he pushed further into the woods to find solitude, eventually setting up camp on a grassy slope with his food, drinks, and tent prepared. The evening began smoothly. He had plenty of space in his shelter and a variety of food ready for the night. From cured meats to pastries, and even ingredients for burgers later on, it looked like the perfect setup for a relaxing evening outdoors.
Loads of room in there for me. And I'm going to eat well tonight, Mandingos. I've got the usual chorizo, peppered salami. I've got myself a couple of Cornish pasties. Got me pansexual there for burgers for later.
As daylight faded, Chris decided to take a short walk to enjoy the scenery. But while exploring, he lost his bearings and began to worry he might not find his way back before dark.
So I reckon I've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours before it's dark. So rather than just sitting there drinking, I'm going to go for a little wander, see what's kicking about. This is not a bad little spot. It's on a little bit of a slope, but it's nice and grassy.
Luckily, he managed to return to camp just in time, only to discover something unsettling.
So here we are back at the tent. Whew. I was shitting myself a bit there, like I've went right over there and I'm thinking, oh god, I'm lost, what an idiot. But I came back and here we are. I was thinking, hey, why are you some professional camper? Can't even find your tent. Hey, what the fuck's happened there? What the fuck's this? It's me fucking... Fucking hell, man. That's fucking strange. Two fucking... Sorry for the language, guys. 2 Cornish pasties and meat's gone. I mustn't like peppered salami, that's still there. And thank God my whiskey's still there.
Several of his food items had mysteriously vanished. Some meat and pastries were gone, while other items remained untouched. Even his bottle of whiskey was still in place. The scene left him puzzled. Was it the work of animals, a prank by other campers, or something stranger? Though nothing else seemed disturbed, the feeling of unease lingered. Chris stayed the night, but the eerie realization that something or someone had been close to his camp never really left him. Food theft in the woods is often blamed on animals, yet the selective nature of what was taken raises questions. Why leave some items untouched? Could it have been people passing through, or is there a chance something more mysterious was at play? If you were in Chris's position, would you have packed up and left after noticing the missing food, or tried to push through the night with that unsettling feeling hanging over you? After finishing work near Bournemouth, a camper set out to find a place to spend the night. With daylight fading fast, he came across a stretch of woodland that looked promising. Though it was more populated than he preferred, he pressed on, determined to find a discreet spot before nightfall. Eventually, he chose a campsite, tucked between two roads, close enough to hear passing traffic, but not so close as to be overwhelming.
Bit extra protection, just in case the wind starts blowing through the side of the hammock. But anyway, if nothing else happens, I'll catch you in the morning.
As the rain began, he quickly strung up his hammock and tarp, taking care to protect against wind and moisture. With his gear dry, he settled in, brewed a cup of coffee, and prepared an early meal while the rain tapped steadily on the shelter above. The night seemed quiet until around 11:30 p.m.
I can hear you.
When he was startled awake by the distinct sound of footsteps near his hammock. The noises were bipedal, deliberate, and unsettling. Each time he checked with his light, the area appeared empty, yet the sounds persisted. Uneasy, he spent the rest of the night on edge, unable to fully relax. By morning, mist and rain still clung to the woodland. He fixed a simple breakfast of oats and coffee before packing up, leaving behind nothing but the faint, dry outline where his camp had been. The source of the footsteps remains a mystery. It could have been a late-night wanderer, or perhaps an animal whose movement sounded eerily human in the dark. What do you think was moving outside his camp that night? Just wildlife passing through, or something more sinister? Guided by locals, a camper was pointed toward an old iron-gated entrance, a place where children often claimed to witness strange phenomena. Curious to see for himself, he set out to investigate the woodland beyond, determined to uncover whether the unsettling stories held any truth.
Up the banking, and then you'll see like some woodland. She says kids often complain about seeing strange things there.
As he entered, he carefully made his way through the terrain, noting the nearby cricket fields and the unnerving stillness of the woods. Signs of human activity, makeshift shelters, and old fire pits hinted that the place had been used before, though by whom remained unclear. The deeper he moved into the woodland, the stronger the sense of unease became.
So we're having a little look around and been speaking to part landowner there, and this is a nice dog. He's actually, paying a bit of respect to his dogs that he's buried.
Rustling leaves and distant animal calls only intensified the tension, leaving him with the persistent feeling that he was being watched. That tension escalated when he encountered a local man. Clearly intoxicated, the stranger claimed ownership of the land.
You're better off going down to, what is it, bridge down there?
Yeah, I'm gonna look down there first, see what I've seen. One spot, but
There's no cat, is it?
all I'm looking for is like a nice.
And spoke cryptically of buried pets. Though the camper attempted to remain respectful, the man's slurred speech and erratic movements quickly raised concern. What began as a simple exploration now carried a sharp edge of unpredictability. Caught between curiosity about the man's claims and a growing sense of danger, the camper decided it was best to cut his trip short. Packing his gear, he left the area with mixed emotions. Frustration that his plan had been derailed, but also excitement at the thought of returning someday with proper permission from the rightful landowner. The encounter raises unsettling questions. Was the man simply an intoxicated trespasser? Or was there truth in his talk of buried animals and strange activity in the woods? If you had been in the camper's place, would you have pressed further into the forest despite the warnings, or left as he did? The final case of the night comes from Western Nowhere, a channel centered on solo wilderness exploration, archaeology, and storytelling, often set in the remote landscapes of the American Southwest. On July 27, 2025, while documenting an ancient hunting camp, hidden deep in the forest, the adventurer began to sense that something was wrong.
Whoa. This has clearly been worked. This thing's 750 years old, at least. And can't see the very end of that. So I didn't read anything about these caves. I know there's caves throughout this area. For some reason this cave, it's creeping me out. I know that it's close to the cave with the skull. I'm gonna sleep out here and I'm gonna think about it. One, it's not safe because I'm by myself. Two, it's very tight. And three, my emergency GPS, well, it doesn't work underground. So these rocks seem stacked. Oh yeah. I mean, that thing's small. Seeing something white back there. I think it's just a rock. I can't tell. So that's 3 caves. And it's starting to get very late in the day. It's probably 15 minutes of light left. I have a hike back to my truck. These caves are tempting to investigate. And I think I'm gonna watch this sunset for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna hike back to my truck. There's something powerful about being here. Right below me, that's the ceiling of Skull Cave. I know there's more of their objects, their tools, the things that they made stashed in these rocks. I don't know where they're at, but you could almost sense that they're here. And I think of the sounds that went on here as there was life here. There's this quote I think of from this great documentary called Peter and the Farm. And Peter said, "Life announces itself with force, but death is always the same." And he's referring to the silence of death. And I choose to think about the announcement of life, of the sounds that carried on and played out here, of laughter that no doubt went on out here. So standing...
What started as a quiet expedition gradually shifted into something far more unsettling. Among the ruins and caves, he noted stacked stones and signs of early habitation evidence of a hunting site that could be centuries old. Though tempted to spend the night inside one of the caves, he quickly dismissed the idea. It was too tight, too risky and dangerous to attempt alone.
Next to Skull Cave, I feel the heaviness, almost like, what was that sound? I'm sure my mic picked that up. What was that? Right in there. Now it's over here. Well, that was creepy. It sounded like a 10-foot tall bullfrog. I still don't believe in Bigfoot. And I'm going to tell myself that while I'm sleeping out here tonight. What is that sound? It's coming from out here. Is it a bear? Well, so I've heard bears before. Kind of sounds like it. It sounds deeper. And I've heard cows make really strange, creepy sounds, but not like that. The sun just left. I mean, you'd have to just laugh, right? I'm not going home. I'm gonna spend the night out here. I was gonna camp here on the edge of, what is that? I camp here on the edge of, I camp here on the edge of, what is that? I got the chills. Okay, well, enough talking. I'm gonna stay here for 5 more minutes. Quiet. I'm gonna record. See if I could get a clear recording of this thing when I'm not talking. That time, It went the opposite way, 100 yards to the right. So either more than one, or it could move maybe 10 miles an hour through dense forest.
Instead, he set up camp near a cave known as Skull Cave. As daylight faded, the silence of the area grew heavy, broken by strange deep noises echoing through the forest. The sounds were powerful.
No Sasquatch got me. I'm gonna make some dinner and then I am going to get my camp set up. I could still hear whatever it is out here, so what I'm gonna do is set up a mic, I don't know, 100 yards away from my truck, and see if I pick anything up. That's where I have my mic, and it's recording. I was gonna pitch a tent because it was gonna rain, but it kind of cleared up. Hearing that sound through my speakers at home, I'm more convinced that it was an owl. Even though in person, it was much louder, it was much deeper, and it seemed to permeate the entire forest. So if anyone recognizes what animal this is, please let me know. That's the end of day 1 at this ancient hunting camp. Tomorrow I'll head back out to the caves and maybe go inside.
Unlike the typical calls of local wildlife, they stopped him mid-sentence, leaving him clearly shaken. Though he tried to rationalize it as an owl or perhaps a distant animal, the volume and resonance made it difficult to explain away. Later that night, he placed a microphone outside his camp to capture the environment. The recording revealed not only the strange calls, but also the snap of branches and other unexplained noises. The forest seemed alive with something unseen, its presence undeniable. While the adventurer suspected it might have been an owl, the recording suggests a much deeper, more powerful sound. Could it have been an unrecognized animal, or perhaps something tied to the ancient history of the hunting camp? Was he merely surrounded by natural wildlife, or did he stumble onto something older? Something that still lingers near the caves once used by hunters centuries ago. That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.